Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishnabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nama om vishnu padaya krishna prishthaya bhutale shrimate bhakti vedanta swami niti namine namaste saraswate deve gauravani pracharine nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarine jai shri krishna chaitanya प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण पदाय भूतले हेमते राधानाथ Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavad. For joining today evening's Krishna Katha. So, we're going to be talking about this pastime of Putana, killing of the demoness Putana. And you can see a check, video check. Can you see the screen properly, everybody?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So, what is Lila and the purpose and significance? And then we hear these things, Rakshas and Mahatma. What are demons and saints? So there are similarities, and then what are the differences? So how we can recognize who is who? And then we'll come to Putana Lila and how it played out, the overview. And then what lessons, are very, very significant. All these Leelas have instructions in them, what we can learn from them. And then, of course, we'll end it with questions and answers. Hare Krishna. What is a Leela? Can somebody please read this? I'll need your help throughout the presentation.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is Lila? It is the Lord's pastime, the manifestation of divine love or a higher emotion, which takes the devotee to the magnanimous height of holy common communion with the Lord.
Correct. So this is a very nice description of what is Leela. So Leela, in one way we can understand, the common understanding is it's like a drama. We all see dramas. Dramas are being played out. When we were kids, we used to have this thing called Ram Leela, and we used to have Ram Leela drama, in the big field. And on the 10th day, they used to burn the effigy of Ravan. So the entire Ramayana used to be played over 10 days. Leela, Ram Leela, they used to call it. So, like it's a drama, but actually, we also, when we were young or even now, we perform these dramas. There are also professional drama companies. You see in Broadway, there are so many dramas that are happening. But the drama, Leela, which Krishna does, the purpose and how it is played out is completely different. The reason Krishna enacts all these dramas is to bring us closer towards him. So, for his devotee, for the pleasure of the devotee, the spiritual pleasure of the devotee, even when we go to see a drama or a movie, as they say, your um, senses enjoy, your senses, whether it's a mystery movie or an action movie or a comedy or something like that, for those few hours, your senses get engaged, you're absorbed in it, and it feels good. But the Leela that Krishna performs is to give that spiritual enjoyment. And you see this word over here. It takes, the devotee to the heightened pleasure of spiritual ecstasy, and that is the Holy Communion. Communion is nothing but a connection. So through these Leelas, devotees connect closer to Krishna. Hare Krishna. There is another purpose for the drama. This is the primary. Now there's another purpose. Can someone read the Sanskrit shloka, please? And the translation?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, please go ahead.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium.
Correct. So Krishna comes down himself, or he comes down as an avatar. Avatar means one who descends. So, avatar is Krishna only, but maybe he doesn't exhibit his full potencies or his full qualities. For a particular purpose, he comes according to the time, place, and circumstance. So, the first reason of his descent is to deliver the pious, give association to the sadhus, his devotees. And the other is to all the nonsense which is going on, to eradicate that and re-establish. Because time, Krishna says, right, in Bhagavad Gita, time I am the destroyer of all worlds. So with time in the material world, everything deteriorates, including the practice of religious principles. And we can see that, even uh, in our lives. Now I'm middle-aged, but from the time what was actually a taboo when we were kids growing up to now what is perfectly acceptable. There is a dharma which is going on, a dharma which is going on. So and it is there. The Shastras declare that, in this yuga, these are the avatars who will come. So we have the Satyug, we have the Treta Yuga, you have the Dwapar Yuga, and there is a current one, Kal Yuga. So according to time, place, and circumstances, he comes and he re-establishes the religious principles. Hare Krishna. So what we have to figure out, there are certain understanding as we discussed what are Leelas, what is the purpose of Leela, understand that Leela is eternal. So this killing of Putana or whatever else, uh, Krishna killed Kamsa, these are all the aggressive uh, enactments of Krishna, but they're also very sweet and very loving Leelas that he has. There is the Damodar Leela, which will be coming up soon, Kartik month. There is the Rasa Leela, which he has with the gopis, with the sakas. There are so many, so many, so many. Krishna is infinite. His leelas are infinite, and these leelas are eternal, meaning it is not time bound. We go for a drama, it starts and ends, finish. They may be having many shows being repeated, but after a certain period of time, it's gone and forgotten. Nobody even remembers. Even the best and the best of the shows and movies, it's gone, right? However, Krishna's leelas are eternal. Eternal in the sense, like the leelas which he enacted most recently on Mother Earth was about 5,000 years ago. This uh, killing of Putna and the other Leelas 5,000 years ago is what Krishna, actually 5,250. Very recently, Haladar sorry, Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj in his class, he was mentioning this. It just happened recently when you look at the time scale, correct? Uh, However, this Leela, as we are speaking, is happening somewhere in the universe. So all these Leelas are happening, correct? And eternal because it is spiritual in nature, for the end of time, from the beginning of time to end of time, it will be constantly narrated. So Leelas are not time bound, it doesn't deteriorate. And if we open, like Krishna book is available, right? What Prabhupada has given these Leelas, he has described. If you read the Krishna book, no matter how many times you read the same story, the same Leela, you will get new and new realizations and new uh, feelings and emotions. So, Leelas are eternal. Hare Krishna. Another very important point, dear devotees, Leelas should be studied with reverence and faith. These are not just stories. Of course, those who have been raised in a Hindu family would be quite familiar with, Krishna Leela's killing of Putana. I remember listening to Krishna's story, killing of Putana. That's what it was before the time of this digital revolution. Digital distractions have replaced human interactions. Uh, so children were raised on Krishna Katha, the morals, the values. It was instilled into the generations through these Leelas. So we are familiar with that. But again, as I mentioned, as time passes by, that it gets diluted. So if we are looking at Leela, it is not something for um, uh, to make the senses enjoy. Rather, when it is studied seriously, with respect, and with faith. Now, there are many things in the Leela which will bewilder this mind of ours, this limited mind of ours, this faulty mind of ours. It will completely bewilder all of us. That's where the faith comes in. And with respect. It's not just to be treated as an ordinary story. This is a reality which has happened, performed by Bhagwan Swayam. And that's where, when we do it correct, that we can get to finally these different Leelas. The topmost Leela is Madhurya Rasa. In absence of reverence and faith, the Madhurya Rasa, the mind will contort it and think it to be a cheap, which it is accustomed and has experienced the relation between young boys and girls. So that's the significance whenever we listen to Leela, whenever we are reading Leela, Krishna Katha, it should always be done with respect and with faith. Hare Krishna. So here's a brief description about the aggressive Leelas. I call them aggressive because Krishna killed these demons, dharma samstha pranarthaya sambhavami, vinashaya cha dushkritam, right? That vinashaya cha dushkritam. This is where it is. So Putna, the first one is Putna. She's a Khechari, a witch. So we'll get into understanding the story. All of you are familiar, I would assume. So we will go through the high level description. Of course, Prabhupada in his Krishna book has given such beautiful descriptions and in details, but we will touch upon, time is only 1 hour. We need to have enough time for question answers also. So we'll touch upon the sequence of events and then what are the learnings through each of this. That's very important. Learning, as we mentioned, Leela is so that there are instructions which would help us get closer to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, so first let's understand this thing called Maya. Maya, what it does is whatever is fake, it takes it as real, and whatever is real, it calls it a myth or a fairy tale or a dream or a fantasy, things like that. That is Maya. That is also one of Krishna's energy. It bewilders the Jivatma in the material condition. Hare Krishna. In the spiritual world, also, there is Maya, but that's a different type of bewildering energy. She is called Yoga Maya. Yog means union, to join. And that kind of bewilderment brings devotees so much more closer to Krishna. Mahamaya, which is the or called Maya commonly, Mahamaya, which is Durga Devi, represented by Durga Ma, you know, her duty is to keep the jiva away from Krishna because that's what the jiva's desire is. Whereas Yoga Maya, her function is to bewilder, cover the consciousness of the devotee to bring him or her closer. So, for example, Yogamaya in the spiritual world, none of the Brijvasis think Krishna is Bhagwan. None. They think he's just a wonderful little child in his when he's a little baby. They don't really consider him to be God. It's just like he's my baby, he's my friend, he's my master, but no one thinks of him to be God. And that rasa is so much more deeper than the awe and reverence. So if you see the five primary types of relationships that we have with Bhagwan and Krishna has with us, he reciprocates accordingly. You know, the first base level is awe and reverence. That is Shanta rasa. Then there is the Dasya Rasa as the servant of Krishna, serving him. Then on top of that, there is the Sakhya, friendship. Then there is the Vatsalya, parental love with Krishna. And the topmost is the Madhurya, the conjugal. So Gopi's chastise, Mother Yashoda chastise. She takes a stick and she runs behind Damodar to chastise him because he's so naughty. He breaks all the butter pots and things like that. Yeah. So this Yoga Maya covers, and here in the material world, the Yoga Maya covers us. It covers our understanding. We are such Chittanand. Chit is full of knowledge. We know what is what. But because we want to enjoy separately, that Chit is covered. And Maya, Mahamaya, that's what she does this. And whatever is not real, we say, yes, this is what it is. And whatever is unreal, we accept it, and whatever is real, we say no, we reject it. So accordingly, there are these things called saints and demons. Saints and demons, usually when we think of demons, the picture which comes in our mind is a horrible looking person. And yeah, there are descriptions of demons, uh, physical descriptions of demons, which is very obnoxious and frightful. But demoniac is also a mentality. And similarly, there are saints. There are saints also. And saints, we think someone who's calm, peaceful. So here what we're talking about is the mentality or the consciousness. Sura is a person. Actually, Sura means one who is enlightened. And Asura, means not enlightened. That is the consciousness. So saints and demons, let's see what are their similarities. Similarities are both are jiva entities. Jiva is also another energy of Krishna, right? His marginal energy, parts and parcels of Krishna. And being parts and parcels, they are dependent and under the control. They are not independent. They're dependent and under the control of Krishna. Now, what are the differences between the demoniac mentality and Sura, the saint? What is the difference? So now we know the similarities. What is the difference? He's spiritually enlightened, whereas the Asura is in the material darkness. This material darkness or ignorance is where the um, acceptance, what we said this, of whatever is false is real and whatever is real is false, vice versa. It's all topsy-turvy. So he's in that kind of darkness. Hare Krishna. The saints are Krishna centric. Their lives, word, thoughts, deeds revolve under Krishna. In fact, the definition of sadhu, a sadhu is a person who's fully absorbed in Krishna. His thoughts, his words, his actions, everything will be centered around Krishna. Whereas the asura is opposite. He is self-centered. I, me, myself, mine. That's all he's thinking about, that all whatever speaks he does will be dovetailed towards I, be, myself, mine, and enjoyment of it. Hare Krishna. Now, the Sura, because he understands his position, his part is meant to serve the whole, he renders service out of love. Asuras expect to be served, whatever it is. Now, there is this kind of a mentality you can see, at least, if you go, my home country is India, and many of you also from the Indian subcontinent, you will see this. There is this class, the social class is there. So if you go to a restaurant, okay, and there's a person who serves you, the server, people treat that server with a lot of disrespect. So if they need to call out or his attention, they will do this. And even if the person is an elderly gentleman, I've seen an elderly person who's serving you, they speak so rudely over there. And that's what they expect. You have to serve me. The Asura has that dominance, whereas Asura will always be in the mode of serving, always service oriented. Hare Krishna. Now, here is a fantastic. Last week there was the class by Haladhar Swami. Hema Jagannath Prabhu had organized for it. We had a seminar in our temple. So those of you who are there, this will be a repeat, but those who weren't, if someone can please read this, it'll put a lot of things into perspective as we'll carry on to the Lila. Can someone please read the first line?
Yes, Prabhuji. Should I start with similarities?
No. This one. We have no devotion.
Oh, okay. We have no devotion but are called devotees.
Maharaj made such fantastic points. If we actually are true with ourselves, and you look at who are devotees, Rupanuga, we call ourselves Rupanuga, but who Rupa Goswami is, who Haridas Thakur is, who Prabhupada is, who our Guru Parampara is, who the Vaishnava is. We have all this knowledge, correct? But if we actually look internal to ourselves, people call us devotees, people call us Prabhus. Yeah. But do you actually, if you're real with yourself, do you really think you could call yourself a devotee? There's no devotion. That devotion is lacking. What devotion really is, we are still far away. We are billions and trillions of miles away from that thing called devotion, but we are called devotees. Next line, someone please read.
We have no knowledge but speaks on the sublime philosophy.
Krishna Katha, whether Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Upanishads, whatever it is, we've read, we have some understanding, yeah, but we speak eloquently, what pravachans we give. But do you really, really, really have that spiritual knowledge? If we do an introspection, this is what Maharaj says, we don't have that. What is really knowledge? We don't have, but still we are talking about it. Hare Krishna. Someone read the third line, please.
We are unworthy but are treated with respect.
Correct. How much when you enter into a Vaishnava Sangha, how well you're treated. I remember my Krishna conscious journey started in the early 90s. And the first time I entered the temple at Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir in Mumbai, Chopati, the kirtan was coming to a close and it was Nithai Gaur Hari Bol, and people were jumping up and down. Those days, the temple was hardly maybe 150, maybe, yeah, devotees, just few. It was not even half full, the hall. Of course, now it is like, it's like up, down, everywhere. It's just devotees, devotees. Uh, and as I entered in, I was shocked to see this is what is happening. Never in my wildest imagination, I could think that devotion can also be dance. And just jumping up and down in exhilaration. I always thought devotion is something very quiet, subdued, sober. Ghanti udar ting 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 slightly. It's going nice agarbatti smell. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. That was my conception of devotion. That is also devotion, but devotion is so variegated. Literally every act that we do could be an act of devotion. What makes something an act of devotion, bhakti, and what makes something which is karmic, akarma and karma, a material act? What is it? It is just the intent and purpose. Now, as youngsters, we used to go out for parties and dance the night away till you're so tired. New Year's, Christmas, this, that, birthdays, and all the other nonsensical things used to happen. And there was so much joy and fun, and everyone is having a great time. Dancing, yeah, dancing. Dancing is actually an expression of feelings. Similarly, song is an expression of feelings. Yeah. Now here also there is expression of feelings, feelings of love for Krishna. And they were jumping up and down. And I thought, my God, these are fanatics, because my idea of devotion is just so limited. I said, these guys are all fanatics and this is not my scene. And after it got over, and Mahaprasade Govinde and all that lecture and everything got over, devotees approached me, complete strangers, and they were so warm and they treated you with so much welcoming, so much respect, so much just for a newcomer that melted all the misgivings and whatever judgmental conclusions I had jumped to. And that's what happens in a Vaishnav Sangha. You are treated with respect. You are treated with respect. We are unworthy, but we are treated with respect. So, an important point to note here is when newcomers come to our temple, we form groups with people who are either the same language we speak or from the same region we come. And that's what happens. We gravitate towards each other. But whenever a new person comes, please understand Krishna has invited him. Krishna in his heart as the Paramatma has induced this person, go to the temple, come see me. Whatever reason the person has come to the temple, he is Krishna's guest. And if we are really serious about devotion, and if we understand this term, dasa, dasa, dasanudasa, we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. It becomes our duty to go and greet the person, make him welcome. In fact, Prabhupada has given the instruction, if the pujari is doing the deity service on the altar, very, very high seva. The pujari is doing deity seva on the altar, and a guest enters, and there is nobody in the temple room. He has to stop, greet the guest, and at least give him a place to sit and some water at the very minimum. That's how important it is. So, dear devotees, humble, humble request. When we see newcomers, go and speak with them, greet them, Hare Krishna. Ask them if they have any questions, because someone may be bewildered. Who's Gaur? Not everybody knows who's Gaur Nithai. So, that's what talk about the temple, the activities, Sunday school. That's so many things are there. Make the person feel welcome, treat them with respect. So Maharaj says, we are unworthy. What all goes in the mind, whatever thoughts we have, whatever aspirations we have. One boat is in Krishna consciousness, one boat is in the material uh, things that we want. And both are going in different direction, and we are somewhere trying to balance over here. So what is really a Vaishnava? We are far away from that. But still, we are treated with respect. We have no qualification, zero. From the perspective of what is Shastra, Maharaj says, from whatever is in the Shastra related to devotion, bhakti. But we are on the path of perfection. Even improperly, we are doing stuff, japa, everything, whatever. Improperly. Somehow or the other, we are finishing the rounds. Somehow or the other, we are trying to listen. Somehow or the other, we are trying to read. Mind is all over the place. But still on the path of perfection. Just doing this will make us into perfect being. Hare Krishna. How is all this possible? Maharaj asked. Only by the will. The Guru decides it. Guru desires it. and that is his mercy. So please keep this in mind. Whatever we are doing, the fact that we are sitting here, we are listening to Katha, I'm speaking Katha, whatever seva that we do, whatever japa that we do, we are big zero, zero, zero. It's only the Guru's mercy which makes all this possible. And here comes to the question then that humility and faith is essential if you want to get absorbed. All this, if you see whatever so far in Krishna Lila, otherwise surface level. Yeah. I've heard this before, I know. There's nothing new to learn or anything. Humility and faith. Otherwise, we all have this asuric tendency. And Maya, correct? It is reality or it is mythology. That's what will happen. Hare Krishna. Now, we'll come to the Leela. So you see, such a pretty woman, Putana. You know the story, right? Putana came disguised. In fact, the Brajvasis thought that, oh, she is Mother Lakshmi. So beautiful, like a celestial being. Putana came. Actually, quite horrific. The description of her physical description, horrific, scary. But she disguised herself. So what happens is that Nanda Baba, he's in the territory of Kamsa. Kamsa was the king, correct? And Nanda Baba had to go and pay his annual tax. And Nanda Baba and Vasudev, they were good friends. They were good friends. So Vasudev knows Kamsa's mentality, and Kamsa had this, right? There was the Akashvani that the child who kill you will all is already born. So Kamsa had made a plan to kill Krishna. So when Nanda Baba goes to pay his taxes, Vasudev warns him. Now, obviously, Krishna is all attractive, the very name. Just his name or just looking at him or just his association, it attracts the heart. So imagine Krishna is now your baby, you're in that. So he was so upset and so much anxiety that he straight away started praying to Narayan. Narayan is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna's expansion only. Now, what we learn is that, there are four types of people who come to Krishna, and in which distress is one of them. So there is fear, distress, anxiety, all in one basket. The other is someone who wants something material gain, right? Someone who's curious, why is it like that, and whatever. And then the fourth category, someone who's a self-realized soul. In the previous life, he wasn't able to complete whatever he had embarked on his spiritual journey. And in this life, now he has the opportunity to continue where he left off. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says these are the four types of people. Nanda Baba, in that type of an anxiety, okay, approached Krishna as Narayan, Hare Krishna. Now, what the acharyas tell us that whatever be your reason to approach, Krishna will give you according to whatever is your mood. Whatever extent you desire, whatever it is, he will fulfill that. Now, on the advice of his demons, Krishna, Kamsa is a minister and he has these advisors. King, he has these ministers and advisor. So they say, oh, you could do this. Putna, she is this Khechuri, which Khechuri is the one who, on a tree branch, she could use it as a vehicle and fly to any places. Now, even in the Western culture, the witch, a flying witch, they say on a broomstick. She goes on a, what they call, what is it called? Jhadu, broom, a broom, right? On a broomstick, they ride. But actually, if you see so many of the folk and legend in the Western, which is, of course, much, 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 much later than whatever has been the Vedic civilization, is mimicking little differences here and there. And she could, with her powers, transform into any form. So this really horrible, ugly looking lady transformed into so beautiful that people thought that she is Mother Lakshmi. Hare Krishna. So she smears poison on her breast, and the intention is Krishna is newborn, right? A little baby. They have to be breastfed. That Krishna will suckle on her and he'll die. This is the plan. Okay. So when she enters into Nand Baba's household, nobody suspects her. Why? Because looks are deceptive. Here's a very important instruction. It's not just surface level. It's not what appears. Don't accept anything just at the surface level. Similarly, with people, it is what people say, how they say it, and most importantly, actions. Our actions in line. Our actions in line. Otherwise, it's very easy to get enamored and fooled. Okay. But Krishna, okay, he detects her and he knows what her intention is. You can't fool Krishna, correct? Now, here it is again, the Acharyas link this to Bhagavad Gita. From him comes memory. He is within us, right, as Paramatma, knowledge as well as forgetfulness. Whatever thought we have, others may not be able to read our mind. Of course, there are yogis who get these siddhis, they can actually know what's going on in your mind. Your guru, because he's empowered by Krishna, exactly knows what's in your heart. We may hide from everybody else, but all pretenses, everything just melt away when you come in front of your guru. He exactly knows what's in your heart. Based on that, he will give instructions and service to you, no matter what kind of appearance we may put up. There's that very famous saying, right? You can fool all people all the time, some people all the time, but not all people all the time. Yeah. But with Guru and Krishna, you can't fool them anytime. Forget all the time, sometime. You can't fool them at all. So Krishna, he knows what it is. And he exactly figured out, okay, this is what Putana has come to do. Then Putana lifts Krishna in her lap and she offers her breast to him. And as she is doing this, Krishna closes his eyes. Now, for all these different uh, uh, highlights of the story. What is the instruction we get from that? So one is when Nanda Baba listens to Vasudev, correct that plot. When we listen to the advice of a well-wisher, it saves us from big dangers. That's why Sadhu Sangha, you know that, correct? Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Sastra Kahe. Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hai. Just a moment's association with a sadhu. Sadhus enlighten. So it is very, very important to have the right kind of company. Then Nanda Baba taking refuge of the Narayan. Dhanudhar Maharaj had said, shelter, all of us look for shelter, and we have a shelter. We are sitting in a house, we have a bank balance, we wear the clothes. Everything is kind of a shelter, but it is an incomplete or a temporary shelter. So, shelter is a place where all needs are met. And as such, Krishna is the only shelter, the permanent and complete shelter. So, always, if at all you have to depend on anyone, depend only on Krishna. And of course, his devotees are nothing but representations of Krishna. Now, when it says here the four kinds of people, keep in mind that even if someone who doesn't come towards Krishna, even if someone who abuses Krishna, who even is an atheist or an agnostic, still they're dependent on him and he provides for everybody. He's like a father. He takes care of all his children, the rascal naughty ones, even the studious and the gentle ones. That is who Krishna is. Now, whatever is the reason, why? Because he is Bhavagrahi. You offer bhoga to Krishna. He's not saying whether it is chappan bhog or what you have made. The emotion and the feelings with which it is offered. And accordingly, he'll reciprocate. Hare Krishna. So now Kamsa had his advisors. Here's also the other aspect. One is good association, what bad association can do. Association influences consciousness, and consciousness influences thoughts, influences words, influences deeds. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So this is what, when Kamsa took the advice, it is the asat, not satsang, asat sangha. Hare Krishna. Now, Putna changed into a beautiful woman. Now, physical transformation is possible with siddhis. Actually, even without siddhis, you could get yourself transformed. So, especially the makeup and shringar, which Matajis do. So, you get up from your sleep, you look something else, but oh, you put up all makeup and very nicely, and it completely changes the appearance. And so much so, even if you see these visual effects in movies, uh, they can actually change the way you look. They can make you look like an alien or something else. And that's what is happening. Physical transformation happens. But what really matters for something to actually make a difference is the transformation of our consciousness. This external packaging can change, does change, will change. Happens even with age, it'll start deteriorating. However, transformation of our consciousness is what is really, really important. Hare Krishna. Now, nobody suspects, okay, as we mentioned this, we can fool others and ourselves. We actually start believing in the lies that we keep repeating and we take it to be true. Remember that Maya, whatever is false is true. But you can't fool Krishna. Hare Krishna. So here it says, right? For me comes memory, knowledge. Krishna Namanand Prabhu had said, what is all? We have all this information, Krishna Katha, class, morning, evening, reading, so many things, sadhana that we're doing, listening to lectures, all that information, what it is about to bring transformation of this consciousness. And only bhakti can bring about permanent change. The makeup that we apply and go for the party in the evening, we come home and it has to be taken off before you go to bed. So it was there for a few hours, that change. But bhakti, when we do transformation of the consciousness, is permanent. So even if the consciousness has changed only 1%, that 1% is permanent. There will be an opportunity, even if we cannot get to 100% in this lifetime. Next lifetime, that 1%, you will start off at 2%. Hare Krishna. And here, when Krishna is closing his eyes, Krishna, though he is Swayam Bhagwan, correct? He behaves just like an ordinary boy, so naughty as a little boy. So naughty he was. He behaves like an ordinary man. He behaves whatever it is to the fullest. When he was the king, perfect king. When he is as the or Lord Rama, Maryada Purushottam, perfection personified. So if you see little kids, infants, when they are being fed, they tend to keep their eyes closed. So that's what Krishna did. He closed his eyes. But of course, we as babies, we are helpless. We can't even move or lift our head. We can't even sit. So dependent we are. But Krishna, though he may be doing the role perfectly as a baby, he is Bhagwan at all times. At all times, he is Bhagwan. It doesn't matter what form he has, what the physical appearance may be, but he is Bhagwan at all times. So now, continuing the story, she comes as a beautiful woman, but this is actually one of the depictions of who Putna is actual, what she looks like. Now, Krishna closed his eyes, and the Acharyas say there are many reasons why Krishna closes his eyes while killing Putna. One is in the Vedas, which is the law book of how to lead your life for human beings, is that you do not, kill women, cows, brahmanas. It's 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 vikarma, horrendous, right? But Krishna had to perform this Leela. So, keeping in mind this Veda, he closes his eyes because he could not bear to see what was going to happen. This is one thing. Of course, now we see what's happening in the world. Even very recently, what's going on in Bangladesh. They are attacking all the Hindus and other faith They've gone and destroyed temples. They've gone and burned deities. They've gone and killed devotees. That's what is there. A Vaishnava is even more than a Brahmana. So again, this is what Kali Yuga is all about. So that's why Krishna, one reason, what the acharyas say. Another is Putna could understand that Krishna is God. She came then, she got that, oh, he can destroy everything. Everything he can destroy. Now she's come on a mission. Okay, so she was a little hesitant. Should I or shouldn't I? But then Krishna closed his eyes, which encouraged her and gave her some confidence. She didn't get scared and she carried on with the task, and the Leela could proceed. Now, Krishna, as he was suckling on her chest, he not only pulled out that poison, but all her life air. And she was shrieking and she came to her original form that, leave me, leave me, leave me. But Krishna didn't leave at all. Now, this act of killing is also mercy. Okay, so even though Putna came to kill Krishna, what Bhavagrahi, remember Bhavagrahi Janardana, he accepted her as a mother. Mother feeds the child milk. He accepted her as the mother. Yeah. And whenever a child, mother carries the child, yeah, that's what he closes the eyes. Now, it's also we need to understand that there are these 7 types of mother: our own biological mother, the nurse, guru, wife, cow. You see what's going on now, cows. One fast food chain proudly announces billions and billions of burgers served. Literally on every street corner, you'll see their store. Just think how many cows, and just think of the karma. In the Shastras, it is explained the consequence of killing a cow, the number of hairs that are there on that particular cow's bodies, that many repeated cycle, hellish condition of birth and death we have to undergo. And since childhood, if we have been eating so many burgers, but sadly, people do not have this understanding at all. And like mad people, we are running doing this. Of course, we have some knowledge and we can see. But what about ourselves? In spite of having the knowledge, what all nonsense we are doing? If we really had some seriousness, what would be the level and quality of a japa? What would be the intensity? Would we be doing, I know I do it, japa to finish and meet the obligation of having done our rounds, or actually as a service to call his names? Anyway, getting back over here, these are the 7 types of mothers, and Krishna accepts Putna as a mother. And because he accepted as a mother and she gave that service of feeding him her milk, he gave her the exact same position as Yashoda Mai. Now, one may say that, oh, this is not fair. Yashoda Mai had love, she came with hate. But for Krishna, Janardana, yeah, Bhavagrahi Janardana, he overlooks whatever is there and he'll only pick the best, whatever is there in us, even with our demoniac nature. Hare Krishna. After Krishna liberates Putana, they smear him with cow dung, the Brajvasis. They bathe him in cow urine, and whatever dust which has been kicked by their feet, the dust of the cow's lotus feet, they, uh, you know, powder him all over with that dust. And then they start chanting the name, Bhagwan ka naam. They start doing that to invoke auspiciousness. So the acharyas tell us that Putna represents, she came in disguise, right? Deceiving mentality as the false cheating spiritual teachers and self-appointed bogus gurus. It's become very fashionable now, very fashionable. Like some years back, there was a guru who called himself Bhagwan, God. He called himself God. That was the title he gave himself. And all regulative principles you could break. Yeah. There are so many cheating gurus. They come, showmen, just make a show. Either they'll do some magic trick and they'll remove um, uh, vibhuti from here, or they'll remove some kind of a idol from thin air, all magic shows. And people are, they come, it's all staged. And it's not just to a particular faith, all these faith. They'll show a person who's all acting, crippled, and then some gibberish they start speaking. Literally, they call it the tongues. All bogus. This is what it is. That's all Putna's parampara. All what you see, they're all Putna parampara. Hare Krishna. So from this, what can we learn? Correct. The first one, Krishna closing his eyes. Yeah. Many reasons. Whatever Krishna does has many reasons. When we do something, it may just be one dimensional, two dimensional, three, whatever. They say, no, oh, they're playing three-dimensional chess, like thinking ahead and whatever else it is. What Krishna does is we cannot even fathom. Multi-dimensional. That's why it is wondrous, whatever he does. Whatever Krishna does. Krishna ran away from the battlefield. Ranchod, it's an act of cowardice. He's a he's a Kshatriya. It's worse than death, but he's glorified. Correct? Krishna is a chore, Makhan chore. But that Makhan chore, if someone steals something for you, how disturbed. But Krishna, the gopis used to wait. Krishna didn't come to my house today to steal. So whatever he does, no matter what it is always beneficial to everybody. The sadhu and the daku, the demon, alike. Hare Krishna. Now, all these religious principles, Krishna closed his eyes, but Krishna is above all this. Correct? All the same, he leads by example. Why again? Bhagavad Gita it says, right? Whatever a great man does, the common folk follow. So he'll lead by example. Putna could understand, but she. Now, one this thing is that, whenever we're doing something wrong and we have an understanding of what is right or wrong, that little voice in our head talks to us, conscience. If we listen to that conscience, it saves us from many dangers. But the problem is that um, urge to have that sense gratification is so strong that we just push it aside. But character, if we listen to that little voice in our head, character is built by listening to that conscience. Hare Krishna. Krishna is merciful. Nandulal Prabhu, he has left his body a few years ago. He was a congregation member, Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj's disciple. So he had said, there is no sin you can commit that Krishna will not forgive. Jagai and Madai, the worst of the worst. We all little Jagai Madais, we all those demons which we read, na, all those qualities, if you're honest, we do an inventory, we'll find to some extent or the other it's there in us. But all the same, that is his mercy. He will forgive. He will forgive. Krishna will see what's the best in you. Okay. Now, when we talk about these mothers, the Vaishnav culture, you see everyone, men are called as Prabhus and women are called as Matajis. And there is a deep philosophy and a science behind why Matajis. Because when you start addressing people as Mataji, the consciousness gets transformed. Men are very lusty creatures. And when they see, women, they see women as objects of enjoyment. Overtly or covertly, that's what goes on in the mind. But with this habit of Mataji, 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 that lusty desire is eradicated. How beautiful this is. It's not just philosophy, but actual practices which brings about these transformations. Then, whatever Krishna does, as we mentioned, either it is through tender, loving care as Sakha or as your lover, or as your child, or it could be what they call tough love. So Maharaj was explaining, Haladhar Swami, that, a thief commits robbery and the police arrest him and he's punished by the police. Same way, a child is doing some transgression and the mother beats him. What is the difference? Both are getting punished. In both cases, they're getting punished. What is the difference? The mother is doing it out of love. Mother is doing it out of love for the improvement. So similarly, my Gurudev, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, he says that if we are in a position of authority, and there may be instances where a subordinate, a child, or whoever has to get correction, but always do it not out of anger or, just as a knee-jerk thing, but out of compassion and love for the improvement and betterment. And how you could do that? Yeah, suppose someone has made a mistake. You rascal, you didn't do this and this, that, and all. Give him a firing and that's done with. But where he went wrong and then what he could have done right and what he can do to avoid making that mistake. Because if we really care about him, that's what will happen. Krishna, they smeared cow dung and all. Now, if you look at it, stool is a very abominable thing. But now even modern science has said it has all antibacterial properties. Cow dung, cow urine. Yeah. Abhishek, the deities, Abhishek is done with cow urine. Can you imagine that? The waste of an animal, that is the position of a cow. That is the position of a cow. Yeah, it is worshipable. So this pastime here is to let mankind know who Gau Mata is. Who Gau Mata is. Hare Krishna. And then they chant the name. Mantra, Man and Tra to relieve the mind of anxiety. And Mahamantra, Hare Nam. Who knows that? Does someone know the shloka? Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. Nobody.
Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyatha.
Can you please translate it?
Yeah, so in this Kali Yuga, there's only Harinam, only Harinam. They are emphasizing 3 times. When we say one word, like 3 times means focusing on that, right? So only Harinam is the solution for this Kali Yuga. So you
Very,
have to just chant Harinam.
very good. Now, Krishna is unlimited and he has unlimited names. So, what name to take? Suppose I say Govind, 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 Govind. Is that okay? Or if I say Damodara, 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 Rama, Rama. Is that okay? Or Vishnu, 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 Vishnu. Narasimha, 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 Narasimha. Chanting his name. Hare Nam, Hare Nam. Chanting his name. Is that okay? Hare Krishna.
Means you are asking like just saying Krishna, Krishna or
Any
Govinda.
of his name.
Huh?
Taking any of Krishna's name,
Mm-hmm.
any of Krishna's name in Kali Yuga. Is it okay?
Yeah, we can take Krishna's name, that is okay. But in our parampara, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave, it's a Mahamantra, right? Means we are asking Radharani and Krishna and Hare Ram also, like engage us, engage all our senses in the service of Krishna. So that is more important.
Yes, you are on the right track. Thank you, Mataji. There are so many names of Krishna Prabhu's Matajis. Yeah. And like Prabhupada said, an ice cream cone, wherever you look it from will be sweet only. Correct? However, looking at what our disease is, now there are so many medicines, correct? So if someone has diabetes, you cannot give him medicine for aspirin for headache. No, you'll give him medicine for diabetes. So our disease, the material disease which we have of being self-centered, all those asuric qualities, the demonic qualities that we discussed earlier. For that, there is this particular medicine called Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What it does is it re-establishes us, it picks us up from the dirt of this material consciousness and elevates it to a pure place. That's the only process. The other one is fine. Yeah. But for specifically this particular situation that we are in, that's why we chant, excuse me, That's why it is the Mahamantra. Now, the instruction is Kirtaniya Sadahari. You know that, right? In such a state of mind, always Trinadapi Sunichana. Kirtaniya Sadahari, that means chant constantly. Then Prabhupada made it 16 rounds. So 16 into 108, 108 is one mala. One round is 108 times. And on each mala, you say this 16, right? Hare Krishna, Hare. So there are 16 words into 108 into 16. That's what is the minimum. What Prabhupada said is minimum. Chant at least 16 rounds. So we chant. Those who take initiation or whatever vows, they chant whatever is that quota. Minimum. We are very happy with doing the minimum. But if we go on the highway, there is a limit, the upper limit, not lower limit. Upper limit on the highway says 65 miles an hour. But if you're honest with yourself, will you go at 65 miles? No, I'll go at 65, I'll go at 69, maybe even 70. Oh, cops don't give ticket if you're less than 10 miles. That time there's a lots of utsa to do more than what is actually required. But when it comes to chanting, 16, oh my, I'm done. My 16 is done. That's where we are at. So why 16 rounds? When it is Kirtaniya Sadahari. It's because of our consciousness and conditioning. If you are huge overweight person and you want to run the marathon, you will not be able to run the marathon on day one. You probably will have to just take a few walking steps, because even with 10 steps, you'll start getting out of breath, where you'll run 26 miles. So Prabhupada says at least do this much. And when we do it seriously, then that consciousness develops. And instead of getting relief when we put the mala down, it's a relief. My 16 rounds done. I met my obligation to Guru. I was able to keep my vow. There'll be a sense of grief instead of relief. Oh, I have to do other things. Hare Krishna. And Putana represents this because that's one of our defects, to cheat and to be cheated. A bona fide guru comes in the parampara and, most important, presents as it is. Hare Krishna. So finally, Prabhu's Mataji's Putana story, we know how to avoid. We should know how to avoid Putana mentality within, which is there within us, and also outside, which is surrounding us. There was a very beautiful documentary by one American filmmaker called Kumare. I think his name is Mr. Gandhi, something. Uh, if you can get hold of it, please watch it. It'll open the eyes. What nonsense, this fake, bogus Putna Parampara, which is there. He did a social experiment, and people are so crazy, you won't be able to believe it. So much he impersonated. He went to India and he first exposed all these bogus gurus all over, from the very famous ones to even the ones we don't know about. And he came back here and he pretended to be a guru, and he had so many followers, and so much so, when he said that this is just an experiment, and I'm not really a guru, I'm a filmmaker and all, they refused to accept it. They refuse to accept it. Just think about it. He's saying that I'm giving you all nonsense. I'm not a guru. They refuse to accept it. So we need to be very careful. And nowadays, the condition is such, there's so much of turmoil, chaos, and so much of disturbances which is there. And we gravitate to spirituality, and people take advantage of that. So this Putna mentality within us and outside, how to avoid it? I'll need your help. Now, there are only one or two Matajis who always take up the save of reading, but if everybody does it, it will become so much more interactive. I'll humbly request those who haven't read before, please read this. Can someone read the Sanskrit? Don't worry about the pronunciation and mistake.
I can read it.
Go ahead, Sachin.
Pranata Pisanishana Taror Iva Sahishana Amananiya Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari.
Yes. This is one of the most quoted verses at least in the Hare Krishna movement. Can someone read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna.
Very well.
One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, yet is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord.
Thank you, Mataji. And then finally, the puppet.
I'll read. The grass is. Go ahead, Mataji.
You want me to read?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you. The grass is specifically mentioned in this verse because everyone tramples upon it, yet the grass never protests. This example indicates that a spiritual master or leader should not be proud of his position. Being always humbler than an ordinary common man, he should go on a preaching the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra.
Yay. Hare Krishna. So nice. Now, what does this tell us? What we just read here, Kirtaniya Sadahari. You know, all the gurus, etc., which we see the bogus, it is coming from this desire of pratishtha, fame, recognition. Along with fame, recognition comes power. Power to control others. Power so that more people you control, the more people will serve you. This pratishtha. That is the root cause. And that's there in all of us also. It's not the bogus gurus, the well-known and the unknown that we see. It's there even in us. We have this Putana mentality. We have that Bakasura mentality. We have little Ravanas in us. We have a little bit of Kamsa. All the time do introspection and see where we are lacking. Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj said, Bhakti container is heart. And our heart is like a chalni. Chalni is, what is it? Sieve. It's like a sieve right now. All these anarthas, all this demoniac mentality that we have at some degree or the other. So whatever we are learning, whatever attempts that we are doing comes in, but slowly, slowly, slowly seeps out. So it's like taking one step forward, two step backward, one step forward, two steps. Sometimes we go running way ahead, and then again it starts drip, 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 drip. So if you're very careful, with the Putana mentality, keep this in mind. Don't expect pratishtha. Don't expect. And to know who a genuine guru is, please go to this site, ISKCON Disciplic course. You'll get the knowledge to identify who a real guru is. Not necessary that you have to take initiation, but at least know who a real guru is, so that you won't get exploited. Hare Krishna. And finally, we come to the question answer session. If anyone has a question, you can ask, or we can bring the program to a close. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So you can read this. If you have Science of Self-Realization, it's there on Veda Base also. You can read this. What is a guru? Hari Bol. Any questions, Prabhu's Mataji's, or a comment or a realization?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you
Hare.
so much. You very nicely explained all these points. And like Putana Lila, just want to share, Prabhuji. Is like a symbol of avidya. This is what you are saying, like we have ignorance, right? Or like bogus guru and all that. Nowadays people are just doing because it is a fashion. Oh, they have guru, so we'll also make guru, like that. And they don't know actual is guru means, right? Guru takes, when we take initiation, guru takes all our sins what we committed earlier, right?
After that, we also do lot of offenses, but Guru has lot of power because of Guru, as you mentioned. What we are getting just because of Guru, everybody can feel it, right, Prabhuji? Before getting Guru, we are not that much sincere, right? When I was taking initiation, Prem Saror Mataji said to me, right? See, Mataji, you are taking initiation from our Guru Maharaj, but you have to be very careful, and we become very disciplined. Oh, our Guru will not suffer because of us, and we become very disciplined, and we are like agni pe chal ke jate hai, like that. We are just thinking whatever we do wrong, miss, we don't do, we are trying not to do wrong, but it comes, and then we think about our Guru Maharaj. No, he will suffer because of us. So Guru is not a just ordinary word. That Guru, it has so much potency. I experience in my life, I experience, like I mentioned, like Vyas Puja, I was having Guru Maharaj before marriage also, and he was so close, like he was like Krishna for me. All the problems I was just sharing with him, and how my problem was getting resolved. And when he at, after his departure, what I was having conversation with him, now I realize, when I go through different scriptures, I'm listening different classes from different devotees, right? Then I realize, oh, he was talking like that time, and that I didn't realize, but now it is like more and more realization. So Guru's mercy, very, very important. I remember, Prabhuji, I was in Cynthia that time, just our I think 2020, and you asked this question, what is making you to be in Krishna consciousness, like so much services and all that, right? I remember that, and that time I didn't realize, but it is just Guru's mercy, Prabhuji. That guidance Guru, what he gave, it's ultimate. Means I can't express how much gratitude I share. I can make the shoes for him like with my skin, 7 births, but still I cannot repay him. That is, and then I got His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. So amazing. I shared, maybe you might have heard that day on Vyas Puja day, first meeting. I just shared like how I used to talk with my Guru Maharaj earlier, and I could see that same type of conversation I had with my this His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, and all tears just came out continuously, and my heart just cleansed. All hankerings, and see, everyone has problem in life, right? Everyone has something or other, right? Health problem or family problem, this problem, that problem. But after that, Prabhuji, my heart becomes just empty. I don't want anything. Like it's Guru Maharaj's mercy. Just wanted to share that. So Guru,
Oh, nice.
it's not like we talk like Guru. It's a simple word, but it's not simple. It's a representative of Krishna. On the earth, he is a Krishna for us, not nothing else.
Yeah. So true. So true. Thank you for Mataji.
Maybe Padmamukhi Mataji also has realization. We used to talk while making garlands. I think
informing the customer that the item was returned.
Haribo, Tachirani?
No, I'm sorry. It was by an error.
Okay, that's okay. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much for sharing. Hare Krishna. Very good. So we can bring the program to a close. Sameshwar Prabhu, over to you.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Thank you so much, Koji. Nicely explained the in and out of the significance of Krishna killing the Putana and who is Putana, what it means to us, how we can understand these pastimes, Krishna killing the Putana. And the most important part of it, it's mercy, as you mentioned. Krishna showers the mercy upon the devotees. So who come in contact with Krishna, they are not ordinary. They are also some way or other great personalities. We know that when Putana was actually the somebody says daughter or sister of Bali Maharaj. We know that who is Bali Maharaj. And even just seeing the beauty of Lord Vamanadev, the daughter, I mean, we can say that or sister, they were so attracted to Krishna. So that love already manifested in their heart. Krishna wanted to fulfill all those. There are a lot of significance like that. So thank you so much. If there is nothing else, let's anything else? Anybody else would like to add anything? Rest, let's conclude. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amritananda Prabhu. Let's conclude. Let's say chant together. Vancha kalpatarupasya krapa sindhu bhevacha padidana pavane
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavvrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Mera Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Gaudi Vaishnava ki jai.
Jai.
Guru Premanande Hari
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 Hari Bol.
jai. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.